So the story goes that they had a camper that they were using recreationally to travel around, and they sold the camper in order to buy their first service van.
Welcome back to Alachua Home Pros with another edition of Trades Talk. We've got a lot of plumbing questions and a lot of concerns about plumbing in Alachua. So we reached out to Sunshine Plumbing and Gas and said, hey, we need someone that you can sit down and explain what's wrong with the plumbing, things like that. So they said, all right, well, I got my lead technician here, Mr. Mike. Going to come in and sit down with us and go ahead and tell us everything we need to know about plumbing. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Alachua Home Pros. You feel comfortable? You got coffee there? You good?
I'm working on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start at the beginning. Let's introduce the audience to Sunshine Plumbing and Gas, how long they've been in business, what they do, who runs it, where they located, what do they do, all that stuff. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, well, hi everybody. My name is Mike Wojciechowski. I'm a journeyman plumber at Sunshine Plumbing and Gas. We're based out of Gainesville, Florida. We're right off of Williston Road and 34th Street. We've been in business here for over 10 years. We've been serving North Central Florida. We provide new construction, residential, and commercial services, both repair and new installations. Our owners, Nate and Sarah, are wonderful people. They got into the plumbing business because they reached a point in their professional careers that they held before they opened the business where the choice was to either continue working for somebody else or to advance their careers by going back to school. And they sat down and decided that they would like to try, the American dream and pursue it and open their own company and see how it is to work for themselves. So the story goes that they had a camper that they were using recreationally to travel around, and they sold the camper in order to buy their first service van. So they did that, and Nate, the owner, hopped in the service vehicle and started doing service calls, repairs, diagnostics, while his wife, Sarah, handled all of the office administrative tasks and the dispatching. And there are many funny and wonderful stories that came from that, but here we are over a decade later with over 650 five-star Google reviews. We have almost 40 employees, and we are working on becoming a pillar of our community. What our business does and what really sets us aside is that we believe ourselves to be the stewards of our community's water and waste. Plumbing tends to be something that is either on or off. It's hidden inside your walls, it's buried in the attic, and you don't tend to think about it until it fails. And for plumbing to fail, it can fail spectacularly. Yesterday's dinner ends up in your bathtub, or you come home and there's a surprise water feature in your yard, or heaven forbid that your house is flooding out. And almost everything in our trade is an emergency for somebody. And that's what we strive to do, is to help people with these problems. Every day I get up and I clock in is an opportunity for me to help someone, to help them keep their water clean and safe, to make sure that their ground, their property isn't being contaminated by unmentionable things.
So how did you get into the trade?
So I got into the trade backwards, the same way that I got into most of the things that I love in my life. I used to work for myself. I was a handyman for about 5 years, and towards the end of that business experience, I transitioned into being a subcontractor for the contractors that did the kitchen and bath remodels at Lowe's and Home Depot. I was brought into the trade by a very nice, very knowledgeable gentleman who taught me at a younger age some of the most important lessons about having a good work ethic, what good customer service means, and also how to deal with the frustrations that come with being somebody that others depend on for professional services. Towards the end of my old business's tenure, my partner got ill and I had a choice to make. Did I want to continue doing all of this on my own, or did I want to go and work for somebody else? And I made the choice to find employment because I was afraid. I didn't want to do all this on my own. I didn't want to start training people. I didn't want to start from scratch again. So I
find that funny. I find what you just said funny because I know a little bit about you. And you just made the comment, I didn't want to have to train people, and I got into this other business because I didn't want to have to bring people up. But yet, you recently just started a new job.
That's true.
At night. Doing what?
I am a first-year plumbing instructor.
You're a trainer.
Yes.
Of plumbers.
Well,
do we find any irony in that?
And that's what was surprising to me, is that the thing that I was afraid of, the thing that I wasn't looking forward to, became a rewarding experience.
If there was one thing that you could teach every homeowner out there that would help you in the future with them, what would you teach them about their plumbing in their house that's the most important thing for a homeowner to know?
I think every plumber would agree that every client, whether it's residential business, or residential home, or their business, should know where to turn their water off.
Main water shut off.
Main water shut off.
I was thinking that exactly. I was quizzing you, Mr. Instructor.
So there's three places, broadly speaking. In a residence, you either have a water meter supplied by the city, or you have a well. So the water meter has a valve on it. You should know where that is and how to turn it off. Or you have a well which you can turn off at the circuit breaker panel. The quicker you shut the water off, the less damage there is to your property, which means the cleanup and the associated cost is going to be much less.
All right, so I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people don't know where that's at. Is that something that Sunshine could send somebody out to find, make sure it operates, and tag for the homeowner?
We can certainly provide that service. So a service that we can provide is finding that location for you, exposing that valve, testing to make sure that it works, and if it doesn't, we can get you guys a quote to replace it and show you how to operate it, put it in a visible location so that everybody can see where it is, so that you have the confidence to know, hey, if I need to turn my water off, this is where I do.
All right, well, that is your homework for the next week. Find where your water shutoff valve is. It's not an emergency until it is, and water damage is extremely expensive to recover. Until next time, this has been Alachua Home Pros with Sunshine Plumbing and Gas.